Hello. Thank you for coming to see this discussion, and thank you to those who are probably watching it later afterwards. I see at least 3 cameras, which is very, let's say, stressful to me, but I hope I can manage, and I wish the same to the participants of this discussion. So we are here gathered at Tallinas International Short Film Festival at the Animation DNA industry part of the festival. Maybe just to give a short, brief introduction to the reason behind this whole industry part. Basically, it's a question. It's one question, why there is no animation festival in Latvia. And from this one question, people at Tallinas came up with several interesting discussions, programs dedicated to animation, and also this discussion that deals with the question. And here we have our neighbors coming to rescue and tell us about their experiences. And if you don't mind, I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience. Thank you, Juste. You can begin.
Okay. So, hello, my name is Justė Michailinaitė. I'm producer from Lithuania. Also, I'm the president of Lithuanian Animation Association and the head of the industry at BLON Animation and Video Games Festival.
Can anyone? Yes. Oh.
Thank you. My name is Vladimirs Leščovs. I'm a film director and producer from Latvia. That's it. I don't know what to tell more.
Thank you, Vladimir.
My name is Almantaite. I'm the director of BLON Animation Games Festival, and I'm also a film producer from Lithuania.
Hi, I am Sigriid Saag. I work at the Estonian Film Institute and I promote Estonian films. So my job is to make sure they travel at international festivals.
Hello. See that this one, it's not, I don't know.
It works.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. Hello, I'm Marikivi from Estonia, and today I'm representing Animist Tallinn International Animation Festival.
And I forgot to introduce to myself as well. My name is Anna Zacha, and I'm the head of Latvian Animation Association. So let's begin. So if we start with the animation festivals, there's a history. Latvia had an animation festival, was called Bimini, but it's been many decades since this festival has disappeared. There are rumors and legends about where is it now. I have heard that it's in Georgia, but I don't have any facts to give you about it. But basically, it packed its bags and left, and we don't know why. So I would like to find out a little bit about the history of. Let's start with Estonians. You have a beautiful. This works. This really works. This piercing gaze of Juste works, but we will start with Estonia, not with Lithuania. So you had animated dreams, right? And it kind of sunk into a bigger festival called Black Nights, and now there is Animist. Can you tell a little bit about the history of Animist that is 2 years old, right?
Now this August we will have our 3rd edition. And yes, we had animated dreams, but I think it was some years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when Animation Festival Animated Dreams were joined with this short film festival Sleepwalkers under the name Buff Shorts, and it's now a sub-festival under Black Nights. And then we were thinking that Estonia should have its own animation festival, which is only specialized on animation. And then I met Pretender, and we were thinking that we can manage to do that. So before we started the festival, we made the animation year dedicated to our legendary filmmakers Heino Pars, Tuganov, and Rein Raamat. And during that year, we decided that, okay, the festival will work, that we got some experience how to organize it, the interest, like, can we get any audience and how to get the audience. And then we started the festival. Yes, the first edition we did in a collaboration with Estonian Academy of Arts, but now we are independent. We started as an independent festival, but in Academy, but now our center is in Cinema Sõprus, which is a art house cinema in the middle of Tallinn. Yeah.
And you had student specialized programs, right, and workshops in the beginning. Was it more connected to the fact that there is the animation master's studies? Was that some kind of a point of reference to the program of the festival, or?
No, we didn't have a specialized program for students. We have only one competition program. In first two editions, we gave out two main awards, one for professional film and one for student film. But now we decided that we keep only the Grand Prix, and there is one competition. All can apply, all student films or professional films, and. Yes, we do some workshops and lectures. These are not only meant for students, and as I can say that I saw few students in the audience, usually, mainly animation professionals and foreigner guests are coming.
But that's the usual problem with students.
Yes, but with collaboration with Tallinn University Anthropology Department, we are doing workshop which is for animation and anthropology students. So this has been full all the time. So this is for students, but it's collaboration between anthropology and animation. Because our festival, like one way is kind of do anthropology. So.
Yes, because of the background of one of the organizers, right? I know.
Kind of, yes.
Pretender has a history with the Anthropology Film Festival, right? And also he is doing some of his films. To me, seem to be like an anthropological research as well.
The first plan was that each edition we try collaboration with some other field. Like first year we took anthropology, it worked, and we got more ideas, and we got more projects together with them, and so we stayed with anthropology.
Thank you. No, but that's lovely, and I think it's a great thing to stick with. But it gives also a chance that you could maybe change at some point. It's not like something written in a stone, right?
Yes, we are independent. We can do whatever we want every year. It's a two-person festival, so.
It sounds good. It sounds like a plan for maybe one Latvian person. Let's see. So, Laura, would you like to tell about BLON? How did you start at BLON? and why?
Yeah, you know, it's been 10 years almost. So I actually tried to remember now the motivation behind it, but I think there was a strong will and support from the industry to have a modern animation festival, because we have one that has been there for many years. And when the festival is combining animation, games, and VR, so we started with those rules that are, you know, combining different and related fields, and we had a lot of support also from the city, because we are happening outside the main city. We are happening in Klaipėda. I hope some of you know where that is. And that was also a hard and difficult decision industry-wise, right? Because all the industry is always based in most of the countries in the capital city. So we are still sort of putting ourselves on the map also for the industry. We have to remind them every year that we happen in September, and please put that on the calendar. And it's only 300 kilometers away, and it's a very nice Baltic coast. So, you know, there are a lot of challenges in that.
Can I ask you if you have anything to add, then maybe after the answer. So was it a decision to how much the festival Tinderindis and its content influenced the decision to go into the direction of animation and games and gaming and VR, or because you said that that was one of the points to reach, that it has to be modern, and the modern means new technologies or maybe something else as well.
Also starting with a different approach towards having a festival and its content, not necessarily involving games. Games and VR was the decision of our group of people who were behind the festival. But we also didn't want to threaten our colleagues with a new festival, so they would be cut with funding, or because they have a long tradition and they are doing what they're doing. They have a good program, I think. But that was also our angle, and also for Klaipėda that made sense for the municipality. They were interested in that, so it was a combination of things.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add about at this point? Okay, so can I come back to you and ask you about this? This is going to be a complicated question, but maybe you could answer like what was the urge? Why did you need it, like this pure animation festival? Probably you have written this in your project's submissions. I think everybody has been in that point when you have to justify, justify the existence of this project. Then you have to explain why is it necessary to have a separate event just for animation.
Now, Estonia, you might know, has a long tradition in animation, and we still have 2 huge studios, Drawing Film, Joonis Film for drawing animation, and Nuku Film for puppet animation, and we are developing. There are many films coming out each year, so and the Estonian audience, they are asking like where we can see the films, because these films are not in the cinema in Estonia. You might see them after the years somewhere in national TV, but not in the cinema. And actually younger audience does not know about the history of our animation. And that was one reason. And Estonian animation people are quite active in general somehow, and yes, we were thinking that it's needed that Estonian animation is in the cinema, but it's hard to make just a random screening during the year, just one screening. It does not get any attention. It's better to make festival. It gets more attention that you have your specific time during the year. And more like to give audience some education that animation is not for children, and within this 3 years we already feel that it kind of works, that these people who are going to see artistic films in Cinema Sõprus, they already understand that there is a difference between children animation and artistic independent animation. So.
Okay, so it's a very broad topic you're touching upon now in regards to programming. But about the children animation and the development of the audience, so you believe that a separate, like a pure animation festival is the best way to promote animation, or is that what I understand from?
Yes, because for me, these mixed festivals, I just feel that animation get lost in live action, that animation, it's really specific art form for me. The technique, the stories, these are totally different than in live action. So I can't see doing myself a mixed festival.
Great, and maybe we can thank you. And I believe that now it's time to talk to Juste and Vladimir. You are both producers as well, right? And filmmakers, actually. You're not you're a documentary filmmaker, right? It's not animation, but Vladimir is okay. Good to know. So Vladimir, as an animation director, do you prefer pure animation festivals? And maybe there's a reason behind if you do prefer pure animation festivals.
I think it is not so easy to answer this question, because it depends from the festival, from organizers, because there are some good examples in the world where both documentaries and short films and animation works together quite nice. Such one of these well-known festivals is a festival in Clermont-Ferrand in France, which combines all types of cinematography. So, and it works well. But probably it's a different story, because France has a very long history of animation and filmmaking. I think maybe I should agree with Marie, because animation, it's even not a kind of cinema, but it's more combination of different art forms, because it also includes cinematography, but it also includes visual art, storytelling, experimental approach, and many other things. So I think it's better to focus on animation itself, not to be spread it between different forms, like a documentary or live action film. So I think it's better to run the festival which is dedicated to animation.
Juste, you have been traveling to both of, like not both, to all kinds of festivals. So tell me why you prefer animation festivals. No, that's a joke. So which one do you prefer?
As I'm producing not only animation but also live action and documentaries, of course for me it's Nice when we have a festival of all types of cinema, let's say, but I think the most important thing why we need animation, pure animation festival, is like in our case, in Lithuania case, our tradition of animation is not so long. It was cut before. So we need a tool to motivate young filmmakers to create. And one of possibilities to motivate them is to give a platform to show the works. So I think it's the main reason why I think the animation festivals are important in general. Because when you are applying with your animation or documentary or live action to mixed festival, it's less possibilities to be selected. When you are applying with your animation to animation festivals, then your possibilities are bigger. In our case, in BLON case, I think, Laura, I don't know if you will agree, but we have beautiful student cases that in like mixed festival, they maybe even not would be selected, and we have winners. And for me, it's a tool for motivation, to motivate young creators to create.
And the meeting point, right?
And the meeting point. Klaipėda, it's a bit difficult thing because, you know, you need to prove that it's worth to travel. I think we are doing just great right now. But still, especially when you are born in Vilnius, it's very hard to convince to travel somewhere else. But in this case, I do believe that pandemic helped us a lot because we were the only festival that was always live. We had hybrid version, but never online, pure online. And the BLON was a possibility to run away from the city and to meet your friends. So thanks for pandemics, it helped us a lot. But it's my point of view. Maybe Laura's is different.
Yeah, I think from everyone's comments, when it comes to presentation of artistic work, it's pretty much obvious why we need a separate festival. But I would like to comment also from the identity and organizational perspective, is that in terms of policy, right, the film centers, it's very, very important to have a separate festival and to promote animation as an equivalently important medium, because we are fighting for that in the association for many years now. I know that in Latvia you have this interesting case with the quota for animation production. Okay, I'm not yeah, but there is some sort of, you know, backup behind it. We are the least financed medium in the film center, so for us it's really, you know, we can invite experts, we can have also discussions and panels, and we need that spotlight as animation in the film center in particular. And also audience-wise, generic audience-wise, is like Marie explained, that the audience wants a festival where they can see those short films where they are not, you know, presented anywhere else. And, you know, we didn't have such strong animation tradition like in Latvia and in Estonia, so we have to bring this medium back. We're still doing it, and it's important to have a separate identity in the event for animation.
Yes, I can only agree to that. And regards to the quota situation, it's not a quota. It's just a historical situation that has given... so basically, there is no agreement about anything, but usually there is a certain percentage of funding that goes to animation, but it's not written in any documents. There is a plan that the film center usually wants to fulfill, but sometimes there are exceptions, right? And I don't know about the Estonian film center. Do you have a quota for animation? And also, how does animation festival kind of collaborates with the film center, and is there any interaction in regards to, let's say, keeping the animation importance in the eyes of the film center, or there is no need?
From the Estonian Film Institute side, of course, we have rounds to support animated films. And what we do is also we try to help with the festivals, but like Mari said, that Estonian animation filmmakers are very active themselves as well, and they are very aware of what kind of festivals they want to be at. The big studios, Nuku Film and Joonis Film, they have contacts for all over the years, so they are already contacted directly by the festivals because they know that these two big companies produce very nice content. I mean, we always try to be present at NSC. We have this common stand together. We have animation catalogs, and so we try to do the promotional part as much as possible. What comes to the topic that you had before, like about having an animated film festival only or mixed, then what my experience from the producers is that it also depends very much on what kind of film you have. So for example, with children's animated films, they are a completely different story where in a lot of festivals you don't have a program for the children's animated films, so they have to go for the children's festivals, the big ones, where they might have a program for also animated short films. So yeah, and also we had this success story with Sierra Sandarion last year, and they also said that sometimes it was very useful to be programmed as an animated film within live action short film festivals, because if you're one of the few in the program, you stand out very well. So it's all very dependent on like what kind of film you have and what your aims are. Also, that is the question, like what is your aim when you go to festivals with your film? Is it to promote you as a filmmaker? Is it to promote animation as an art form? Like, are we promoting puppet animation in general, or is it to build up the director, you know, for his future, for example? So yeah, so the aim of being at a festival is also very important, to know.
Do you have the information on let's say the travel, the export of the filmmakers themselves? Where do they choose to go? So we do have a stand in NSC, but usually the Estonian delegation is not very huge. Lithuanians are the ones who are yes, you have a full bus of Lithuanians, and then there's like 5 Latvians and 5 Estonians. So do you have any information about the places the animation filmmakers and producers choose to go internationally?
I mean, the producers, they go to the bigger markets, and as we have only a few big studios, like 3 or 4 basically, so they are the ones who do the most of the collaborations internationally, and we have a lot of one-man companies. So maybe that's why like we have less people traveling, because we don't have that many big companies. I'm not sure if that's the case, but yeah, I don't know, Mari, if you can.
But where did they go? Do they go to mixed festivals or animation festivals?
I mean,
because I can tell you an example from Latvia. There was a certain period of time when one certain studio applied only to exclusively animation festivals. Well, they even at some point hesitated to give a film to a Latvian festival that would mix it in a program with live action. So do you have these cases?
Not that I would know of. I know, for example, the bigger studios, they, as they are already so old and they have a lot of experience, they choose bigger festivals. So they don't give their films out to all of the festivals that require their films, but they choose like the bigger ones. But I don't know that anyone would have been so radical about their films, you know, only being at the animation film festivals or mixed. I mean, our filmmakers, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they travel a lot to do workshops and studies and give on their knowledge. So this is something they do, and a lot of festivals invite them. So this is something that they do a lot. But I think to travel with their film, it just, again, depends what kind of film you have. And you know, because we've had very funny films. We've had this, I don't know, adult puppet animations which travel in weird festivals, you know, genre festivals, or so I think they travel everywhere. But I think what is very nice, at least, is that internationally Estonian animation is known, and they want to learn from Estonian animators. So that's what I think, at least. I don't know.
Yes, I can say that there are many internships coming outside to our studios, that many young students abroad will come and study here in the studios. This is really common. So there are like huge interest in our animation.
Yes, but that doesn't help the festival to grow, right? In that sense, there are just few people, but there usually. Do you have many international guests for the festival, and are those filmmakers, or is this plan of the film institutions really are interested in promoting co-production? We even had a discussion on Baltic co-production. Why isn't it happening in animation specifically? There were just Vladimirs Leščovs, Kasparas Jancis, then there was Lotte and project, and I think that was it. That those two were like the only two case studies we could give. So in that sense, in regards to the guests of the festival, so if you have a specific animation festival or it's a mixed festival, it doesn't matter. You have a place where you can invite these people, and then do you do that, and does it work, and how important it is for the institutions, film institutions, to promote these collaborations? And would a purely animated festival help to do that?
I don't know, is it helps you, but we have international guests, around 20, 30 people. It has been like this, but we started after COVID, and it was all needed to be vaccinated and wearing masks and I don't know what else. So it was really complicated year, the first year, and we were happy that we had 25 international guests that year, and for us it's really important that they are coming to visit us, and as much as we need to get them more, because this is one of the point to get funding next year, and the Film Institute is our main supporter anyway. So,
and what I wanted to say is that I think it's very important that Estonian animation travels, because that grows interest in animation. You have more trust in like towards the country. So for example, we have this anime film festival, and now that our animation has been traveling all over the world for years and years, then people look at the animated film festival differently. They see it as a festival from a country that has a long tradition in animation, and I think they feel more I don't know, appreciated when their film is being selected to a film festival coming from a country that has a long tradition in animation. So I think it is very important that our animation travels.
And this history about animated dreams, the previous festival, it's also a good tip for us, because people know that festival, they are interested why there is no animation festival in Estonia anymore, because they want to come to Estonia with their film. And now when we started, it makes our life easier that we have this long tradition in animation, and we have had this quite famous Animated Dreams Festival before, and it's easy to invite guests because of this tradition. They know Estonia. It's not some X country somewhere without any animation tradition.
True. I also, my first visit to Estonia as a professional was also to Animated Dreams, and surely because of Priit Pärn and all the big names of Estonian animation, that was one of my goals. But okay, so in regards to this, what I'm trying to say is animation festival a better meeting point than a mixed festival or a separate event? And I think I have the answer regards the separate event. And I think everybody would agree that if there are no films screened, you usually don't want to go anywhere abroad, right? If it's not like a very specific workshop where you are training for the whole week or something, but if it's an event and it's an industry event and there are no films, I think you will not get many directors coming to that kind of event, right? Or you have another opinion?
But when we are talking about industry events, I don't need directors. Usually need more producers. And when we are talking about collaboration and co-productions, it is production part. And for producers, I would go to any event as I'm coming here. Yes, we are not collaborating, like we don't have many co-productions with Latvia or Estonia animation-wise, but I think that it's a bit cheaper to do it alone, especially in Lithuania when you have a tax rebate. Co-production makes the budget bigger, the production more complicated. And as we mostly worked on short films, I never felt the need for a co-producer, but when we are talking about like feature length, it should be a case, I think.
Yeah, you know, we are only starting with features just now.
Yes, so. And congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Lithuania has their first feature.
Two already. The one was in two. One was in summer 2022, and now the famous Kake Make Nelly Jelly will have its release on April 24, if I'm not mistaken.
Great. I mean, we have already several features. Vladimir has not produced yet one. He is exclusively short story teller. So, Vladimir, I know there's a rumor that you want to start a festival. Like it's even probably in a press release somewhere, but or in the description of the animation day here at Tuanas. So tell me a little bit about this rumor. Is it true? And yes.
About the feature or about
the feature and the feature. I think
no
you're
features.
working.
No. For me, it's not my format. I don't like long stories. Yeah. Was in 70s or 60s was very popular expression. Live fast, die young. Yeah. Well.
Small dice later.
No. Well, no, it's actually not my format. I'm not ready for long stories because it makes me really. It's a kind of nightmare for me. Well, I like it short. So about the festival, yeah, maybe you know that this Saturday there will be probably the world's shortest animation festival. Yeah, it will be only 1 day long, and no competition, no awards, and no workshops, no master classes, and no visiting directors. And what's more, I have to say, yes, and no entry fee. Wow. Yes, and I hope I will see at least an audience there, because already too many no's there. Like, no, that. So maybe people will come. I hope. Yeah, and one of the purpose for this event is to actually to make a kind of research. If do we need the festival of animation in Latvia, in particular in Riga? And the answer on this question will be received late Saturday evening, after we'll find out how many people attended the festival, the world's shortest film festival. And if there will be not much spectators, I think that it will clearly shows that it's not a real time for proper time to do this still. So we'll see. It's just a few days left. Countdown started.
So you think that the audiences might not be ready for an animation festival?
You mentioned this Bimini festival, which had been quite a long time ago, and I remember very well. Probably the last edition of the festival, when I was sitting in a screening room at Forum Cinemas. We were 3 persons in the screening room. All of us, these 3 persons were jury members. It was quite exciting. So nobody from people who are interested by cinema, they just, I don't know what the reason was, they didn't come. And such a festival we don't need. Sure. I hope that after this 10 or 20 years, I don't remember how long time it was ago, but I hope that the situation changed dramatically. I hope, really. But there are many factors about making the festival. Not only perfect time, summertime definitely not a better time for running festival, but factors, more technical factors, like I don't know how it's. I would like to ask my colleagues actually from Lithuania probably. Do you have in Lithuania a requirement to pay copyrights for music to copyright agency? If you are performing, if you're showing you are screening the film, do you have to pay money for music in Lithuania? Music which is part of this film.
I am in a constant conflict with those agencies about that, because we are paying screening fees and that includes music licenses. So this is my argument.
So in Latvia we don't have screening fees. We have only to pay for music which is part of the film. And this is very strange point for me, because I'm not fighting actually, but I'm resisting to this for many years, and I don't know why it happened. But in case with this world shortest film festival, animation festival, which will be held on this Saturday, as I told you already, it's a free of charge. It's entry free, and we have to pay a lot of money to this agency for music. I yesterday contacted film director from Ukraine, because probably you know that one of the programs in this event is dedicated to Ukrainian animation, and this program is constructed solely by myself. So I contacted directly film directors from Ukraine. I also wanted to invite some of them, but it was not easy, because most of them not allowed to leave Ukraine, because they have perfect age for army. And organizing this event, I found out that I have to pay a lot of money for music, and I was told by these agencies that some of these Ukrainians also have a contract agreement with them. I contacted this person yesterday, one of them I contacted yesterday, and I found out that they don't have any agreement. But it means that never will get their money. But I, organizer, will pay a lot of money for nothing. So this situation is one of the points which makes me think that probably we are not ready for this festival yet here in Latvia, unfortunately. So first of all, we have to change laws. We have to somehow to organize things, because otherwise it's impossible. It's my opinion.
Yes, and it's even more complicated with short film selections, because if you screen a feature film, you have to, at some points, it depends on the count of films. At some point, you get even a bigger invoice for many short films than you get for the same minutes on screen with one feature, right? So it's...
I would like to add also that situation is that if you're organizing festival in Latvia, which suppose that there will be entry fee, so it means that you will sell tickets, then you have to pay for music twice less. But if you're organizing charity festival, charity event, you pay, and you have agreement from your colleagues, from directors from around the world. They just giving their films for free because they want to be in this event, they want to participate, then you have to pay twice more. And I think that it's quite ugly situation, very ugly. I don't know. Everyone knows here who is industry. In Latvia, in industry, everyone knows. Everyone hates this agency. Nobody do anything. This is the situation. Sorry, it's true. I think you have to know this. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope that this starts even a movement that has been dormant for a while. There is probably similar situation in Estonia and Lithuania. No?
No.
I'm not organizer, so Laura is more aware of this, but as far as I know, it's also not...
Yeah, I can just say that there is one agency, you know, that because we have two. But for music rights, we have one, and they have been pushed also by big musicians, but that's been already some 5-10 years ago, to turn into a more transparent way of distributing their, receipts, the money that they receive from all kind of events and stuff like that. And I think they were silenced because they were pretty aggressive in the beginning as well. But now I think the industry went really against them. That's what you called for, basically. Yeah. And there was a big resistance. Also, some big musicians resigned from it, saying that, you know, you're not transparent, we don't want to be part of this. And that ended. So basically, that's how it worked.
Well, that's beautiful. They could resign. In Latvia, you cannot.
No, Well, you know,
really.
you should be able to.
A few days ago, I was talking with my colleague and my good friend from Netherlands, one of the organizers, not organizers, but one of the supporters of this event, who also made one of programs in this event. And I asked him, how is it in Netherlands, one of the most democratical country in the world? And he said, yeah, we have to pay for music. Really? Yes. He said, we have to pay for music which sounds between screenings like a background. We have to pay. And what about music in the film? For instance, you have screening and every film has music parts or something. No, we don't need to pay for this. It's a part of one product. I also sign all my contracts with sound makers, with composers. I have an agreement that I can use their music because it's specially written for my film, and I can't use it separately from the from video, from the visual part. So it's a one product, and they have no any requirements for additional payment. So this makes me really thinking that something is going wrong here. So
quite absurd situation, because in animation, technically the medium, and I think it's also in fiction, less in documentary. In documentary, you have to pay for the rights if you can hear the music in the event that has been documented, but in animation, the director is like the main artist, and then he gathers the best of the best for his creation and collects it all together. And the authorship should belong to one person, right? If the musicians and the artists, character designers have signed an agreement, right? So in that sense, this is quite absurd that all of a sudden this music, it lives its own life. But on the other hand, of course, we have to talk with the music industry representatives in this case, right? Because they also have some saying in this. And maybe if, just as in making animation, all the mediums, join their forces to create something beautiful, then maybe if all the mediums join their forces to deal with something ugly, we could deal with that also in Latvia. So I think it's a good beginning of a discussion. But maybe at this point, I see that this is the answer to the question, why haven't you started earlier? I can see that there is a huge beef between this institution and you personally, and also many of us in many occasions. But I think the necessity to solve it is growing year by year, and it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, I would like to make a statement. Because yesterday I was thinking about this, especially after talking with a colleague from Ukraine, because actually this event is organized and it will be held with the purpose to support Ukrainian people, and in particular children suffered from this horrible war. Yeah, I think you should think just. Because I organize it to support children, and there are some persons who don't care about it. They don't care about it, they care about money. And they are between us. Okay, my statement is as follows. I know that I cannot do anything against this situation, against this institution alone. That's why from today I promise all my films screened in Latvia will be silent. This is, I think, perfect solution. Because in this case, they can't ask for money. And this maybe will make people to think what is going on. What's fucking going on. Yeah, thank you.
I wish I could end the discussion at this point and you could drop the mic. But I mean, now that's a huge loss because...
But I can help you with ending the discussion in a brighter note. We are quite aggressive as an industry, film industry in general, not animation, but fiction and documentary. And we are shouting quite a lot in our country. So the only way to deal with that is to be super proactive and have your requirements, what we do all the time. And industry participants is really very visible, and they are participating in all legal and not legal events. We are like discussing what kind of laws we should take. We are discussing about tax rebates, about production guidelines, etc. So it's the only way, I think, it's to be proactive. And even if your visions with other part, because fiction and documentary usually and animation has different ways of view how should be the funding like divided, etc. But there is some key elements on which we all agree, and we are going as a one voice. And it's not very easy to do, but I think it's the only way if you want to change anything in general.
Well, we have only a few years of animation association, so it's, that Vladimir was part of it as one of the founders, and this question was brought by him like already a few years ago, and we started this communication with other representatives.
But it's not
right?
only animation's problem, so you have to do like unite your strength with fictions, with documentaries, with Riga Film Festival, and go as one unit, you know, one strength. It's just the only way you can do it. That's how we are doing in our country. We are not separating that. Of course, we are like fighting for some animation rights, but we know that some problems or issues are very important to everybody as an industry. So we are going and being quite aggressive usually.
Well, maybe you could tell about Estonian animation situation, and so you have no issues with the music rights, and you have 2 associations, right? And do you work together as well to solve issues like this? Do you have like an example where it really works when several institutions join their forces, or because you have been, Mari, you have been the head of one of the associations.
We have, for animation, we have only one association. So, and I was head of this some years ago. Yes, but we have our Kinoliit, which means like a cinema association, and we have a directors association. So every little piece has their own association, but if there is some big issue, then they all collaborate, yes. And it has been working. Like some years ago, we had problems with the Film Institute, that they want to cut funding.
So you don't have any anymore.
So, but yeah, it started very ugly. When I just got to this position as a head of the association, and it was really ugly, and I was afraid, but then we solved it in the way, but not in every point, but in general the collaboration started, and now all like documentary filmmakers, live action filmmakers, animators, they are all doing things together when it's needed. Yeah, but as much as I know, we don't have to pay for the music, which will be played in the film, because it's one piece of art, and the composer has already got the license fee. Of course, we have to pay for the music which plays before the screening, after the screening. We are paying for this. But yes, this Vladimir told me yesterday about this situation, and I really didn't get it because for me it's like double paying. And where this money goes, I didn't really understand. I was thinking about it during the night. So
I don't think we know at this point. We don't know. Nobody knows.
When this composer does not receive it, as you made the example for your film yesterday. So very weird. I think we don't have it. No one has gave me any bill until today.
We are a special country with special situations, and I think that if we dig more deeper into this, there will be many bureaucratic, disconnections and laws that are talking against each other, right? So it's a complicated situation. Definitely, it's not like something that we can solve with one meeting. It will take time. I mean,
but I think it's you should also unite all the forces, like documentary filmmakers, live-action filmmakers. That worked in Estonia.
And also musicians, because it's their own interest to get this transparency in place, and they are also very strong, backup, because they are actually part of that. So if you get bigger names on board, then it's a very systematic work, but you will definitely get there. You have to do it.
What I heard that when you told that I was afraid, I think that's the main problem. Even now in Lithuania, sometimes I can hear that I'm afraid because if I will say something, then I will not be financed, or etc. So, but it's not true, and it's, as I said, it's the only way to reach some goals is to be active. That's why in my case I'm participating almost in all associations in which I can. Because if I want to change anything, I have to be proactive. And this is how I work and how many of my colleagues work. So usually you can see the same faces going from one structure to another, but then it's easier sometimes to reach something.
And how old is the Lithuanian Animation Producers Association?
Around 10?
A bit less, maybe 8, but
yeah,
more or less.
So it's not very long, but we have also independent producers association, which is I think maybe even 20 right now, and film and 2 more associations, 2 animation associations, which one is not very active. We have quite a lot of associations, and we are very different. But when we have a common goal, we work as one, and it's a strength that you cannot destroy very easily.
Well, that's the whole point of the association, to gather professionals of the same kind, so to work as one. And then you gather associations that work as one, to work as one for a bigger collaboration and bigger goals probably. But so if you don't mind, just a question about the associations. Do you think they work in that sense that you have, what kind of type of associations do you have? Because in Latvia we have like this mixed animation association that invites people who are curators, critics, filmmakers, producers, so very different types of interests and needs, but we don't have animators as part of our association. Animators as not we have directors, of course, we have artists, but we don't have animators as this kind of a professional group. So can you tell about your associations and who is part of them?
We have directors, producers, animators, puppet makers, like everyone who are in the film crew can join. Yes.
And what I can add is that I know that producers, animation producers, have been wanting to make a separate association just for the producers, either as a sub, group under the current one that we have, or then to attach it to the producers association that we have, where you have general producers of feature films, documentaries and all that, and then they would have a subgroup for animation producers as well.
Because?
Just to be part of bigger animation associations internationally, and also to keep the focus on problems and maybe opportunities that the producers need, and maybe the creators would not need to be informed by that much. So yeah.
Because sometimes in producers association, the animators or animation producers' voice get lost or be too weak. That's why they need to be separated sometimes.
Yes, and what about Lithuania? I can only agree. We don't have the animators yet, so we need them to be presented somehow as well.
Our association unites companies, so it's not physical persons, but companies in general. And in these companies, mostly are producers, but we have directors also and animators, but mostly are producers.
Estonian Animation Association, it's individuals. But when it comes to protect some, like, there is some general problem with studios, then we can like present studios as well as a persons. But this producers association, this is for companies.
For companies, yeah, and that's what also the animation companies would like to do, to have an association with companies. But as we have only like 4 big studios and a lot of one-man companies, it has been difficult to form it that way. So it's still in progress, and they want to, try it again. They tried a few years ago to make it, but they couldn't. So yeah.
And how do the associations kind of interact with the festivals, the local festivals? Is there a connection between them?
For us, it's very easy, when you are working in both sides. Yeah, we are not very active with the other animation film festival, but it's not because we don't like the other film festival, but it's because it's one-man band festival, and he never approached with any request to be a part of the festival, so we are just still waiting for the invitation. It's a joke, of course. And with BLON, I don't know, because as I said, I'm working in a BLON and in an association. For me, it's very hard to divide when I'm working through association and when I'm working separately only with BLON, talking about promotion or similar. But what we are doing, we are encouraging our members to participate.
I think there is also, well, at least from my point of view as the director of the program, is there is a lot of dialogue when it comes to what the industry needs in the festival. I mean, we always ask, do you want anyone in particular, even that, for your master class? We'll try to bring that person. Or what do we focus on? Like this year, we are focusing on the production part of animation, and then we also ask around, what's your particular need? Okay, we have a challenge with production management, because right now when we're stepping into bigger projects, that becomes a bit of a challenge for some studios. So we really work very tightly with the needs of the industry.
And what about Estonia?
We promote Estonian animation during the whole festival. we do special Estonian animation programs, which has been really successful. So all studios and filmmakers are somehow connected. And for association members, we do the discount for the screenings. So we try to make every year more collaboration, but you know, sometimes it's hard when they are in the film process, they don't show up. Yeah, but we try to do our best to make the collaboration with studios more and more visible and to get some, I don't know, result. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. And each festival opening, we screen Estonian premieres.
Well, that's already a great beginning, because I think that the interest probably is huge for the national premieres. Is it like sold out always, or?
You mean the opening? It's a free event with invitations, and in the cinema there is a bit more than 200 seats, and we've been counting people, and it's always been a bit more than 300 in the room.
Well, I hope that we will have the same thing to tell people when Vladimir will start his festival. Let's hope that the crowds will be there on Saturday, because if this is the world's smallest festival, then we need the biggest record of people on one seat. Please come. And also, Vladimir did not mention this, but it's the main idea. The first idea was actually to do an event where people could donate for Ukrainian children, and it would be full of Ukrainian films. But the situation was very complicated. So there is one screening with Ukrainian films, but there is a beautiful screening in the morning with films from ANSI, children films. The topic that we did not touch, but how to program films. Is animation really only for children and for grown-ups? How can they compete among each other? But that's for another time. But Vladimir has programmed, not Vladimir, sorry, that was ANSI festival representatives. Then there is your colleague, Brit Tender, has done a program with Estonian films, full of Estonian humor there. Then Gerben Schemer, who did a beautiful program that really kind of leaves a mark. And this is not something you would expect if you do think that animation is mostly for children. Definitely suggest this program. And of course, the Ukrainian films, you would not even, probably some films you have seen already and you don't even know that they're Ukrainian. So that is important as well. So what else? There is the Cyprus. But they had a very interesting name, the festival. Cyprus Countryside Animation Festival program, which has also the latest hits of artist author films in animation. So it is really a small festival. So if you have a chance, you should just go there and spend the whole day there, and donate to the Ukrainian children. The money you would spend on food or I don't know, going somewhere abroad or to the countryside, just go to the cinema and sit there for the whole day. Oh, that's it from me. There's probably no time for questions, but there is, yes.
Question, where is the film festival happening?
It's happening in Cinema Kāsuns, which is on Elizabeth Street. Something 61. Oh, sorry. There's Elizabeth Street is the cinema street. There are 3 cinemas. Kino Bize, which is also involved in animation, sorry, two Annas, not two animation festivals. I'm already, in the future. Because Tuanas also is willing to start an animation section. That's why this discussion is happening here, right? So let's see, maybe we can join our forces. And so there is the Kino Bize. Then in the middle there's the oldest cinema, Splendid Palace. And then the one closest to the station, that is Kāsuns, a cinema that belongs to a couple of two people. And it's an independent cinema. It's a great place to be for the whole day. Do you have any questions? We had a very interesting discussion, at least for the moderator. No.
Just for interest, for people who are interested to attend this festival. You can make a reservation for free tickets on the web page or the cinema web page. You'll find there. Just push on tickets and you'll have the option to just make a reservation for your seat there. That's it. You don't need to pay.
But I suggest you do it just before you enter the screening, because if you reserve, that's the tradition of film goers. If it's a free event, everybody reserves tickets, it's sold out, but then there's just half of people appearing. If you're one of those people who disappears, please do not reserve the ticket. That's it. Thank you. Okay, we're up for informal discussion apparently after this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.